617-770-3030. That's 617-770-3030. Now, here's the Car Doctor, John Paul, on AM 950 WROL, the spirit of Boston.
And good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the spirit of Boston. And, of course, you can always see us on Ustream.tv. It's up and running, I think, this week. Or you can find old podcasts of previous programs on both Ustream. Just go to Car Doctor Radio, or you can go to Podomatic, or you can go to the AAA website and look around there, and you can find us there as well. So there's a few different things that you can find here or there that should be able to help you with if you want to find some previous broadcasts. But coming up this weekend, big weekend down in Florida, Daytona 500 weekend, and with us to talk a little bit about racing is Garen Nicoghosian from Ford Motor Company. Garen really kind of was instrumental in trying to put the new Ford Fusion, well, I don't want to say on the track, but to carry over, I think, some of the character of the Fusion to the racetrack. Garen, good morning and welcome to the Car Doctor program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Sure. You know, a lot of times we've talked for years and years and years about, race, win on Sunday, sell on Monday kind of thing. But over time, the cars that race at Daytona and other races kind of lost their character, I think, is a good way to say how they relate to the cars on the street. But I was looking at some overlays of the new Ford Fusion, and you guys seem to really have carried it off this year.
Yeah, the whole project was based around putting the stock car back into stock car racing, at least in an appearance perspective. The sport's evolved quite a bit since the old days when the cars were actually stock and you welded the doors shut, so on and so forth. But there seems to have been a little bit of a period prior to where we are now, where the identity of the cars was lost in an effort to make them safer and quite a few other factors that weighed in on what the cars looked like. We were given the challenge of putting more brand identity, more relation for the customer to be able to relate to the race car with what we sell in the showroom, and we took it head on and just jumped right into it.
And how, as somebody who works with designers as well as the folks from NASCAR, how difficult was that to keep that NASCAR template that's so important when it comes to racing? NASCAR was a joy to work with on this project because they understood and wholeheartedly embraced the nature of the beast. And what we were able to do with them was to freely have a conversation, not just with us, but all OEMs as to what we wanted to get out of it. Now, I think we were a bit more successful in putting our real car onto the chassis, but NASCAR was a joy to work with, and of course you have our own design rules and guidelines that we applied to the car in the studio. I want to highlight that this car was designed in the studio along the side of the Street Fusion. Now, the Street Fusion was a bit ahead of its in a scheduling sense, but we used the same tools, we used the same methods, and we went through the same set of reviews. We applied the same principles that we do to the street cars. Some of the look and what you're seeing, I mean, I think our race cars got this unique ability to communicate what we believe in Ford design. There's a couple of key sentences we can use to describe it. All of our cars have this visual premiumness. All of our cars have this feeling of efficiency, nimbleness, fun to drive. You can see the Fusion, the Focus, the Fiesta, the Mustang. All these cars just exude a bit of enthusiasm in the way they just sit in the showroom floor, inviting you to get in and drive them. We wanted to put some of that on the NASCAR one as well. Well, I can see how that's important. And as you were trying to design the car and as you were working to it, did you ever come across some NASCAR designs that somebody looked at and said, "Huh, this might actually be looking pretty good on the street"?
Oh, you mean to go from what we did on NASCAR and try and emulate it a bit on the street?
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff you can appreciate when you're dealing with a pure race car. The stance, how wide it is, how flat it sits on the road. All those things are characters that we'd love to put into the street car if packaging and our specific platforms allow it. So yeah, there's been quite a bit of learning back and forth, I'd say.
So you ever going to weld the back doors shut and sell it as a two-door?
Wouldn't that be nice?
But maybe a little more subtle spoiler on the trunk.
A big coupe like that certainly does have its own appeal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking out the window here of one of the other brands that did something like that a few years ago, and it doesn't always translate that well to the street sometimes, but
no, sometimes not so good. So that's why you got to be careful, and you got to make sure that you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. That you're capturing the essence of what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're trying to go between series and between uses on these cars.
That's right, and when it comes to racing, especially stock car racing, and the Daytona 500 being sort of I guess the premier event, is NASCAR still one of the top spectator sports?
Yeah, it is, especially when it comes to vehicles and how we relate to it. It's it's the Great American Race. It can't get bigger than this. I mean, it's definitely the place to be, and you can see our support of it is pretty immense, and there's a reason for that. So, of course, yeah, it's definitely important.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked to people from companies that are not automotive, and take, any example from, faucet companies to laundry detergent, and they say when their car wins on a weekend, they see the sales go up. So I have to think that as people start following your car, maybe the Ford Fusion, it has to be a good thing all the way around for sales and marketing of your vehicles.
Absolutely. I mean, when you have a direct relationship between what we race and what we sell, like we do now, it can only help. It's one of those things where, there's a sense of pride in it. There's a sense of belonging to it. It just connects the fan that much closer to the racing, and it gives you a reason to celebrate not just the driver and not just your title sponsor, like you just mentioned, but significantly increases the ability for us to celebrate the car as well, which is kind of what the whole point is. These things.
Absolutely. I was looking at the NASCAR Fusion and how it relates to the sizes of the gas-powered Fusion, the Fusion we see on the street, and they're really within inches of each other, aren't they?
They are. It's kind of a unique situation where you have such different platforms. You have the street car, which is a front-engine, front-wheel drive car, and then you have the race car with its own proportions. Front-engine, rear-wheel drive. And it's kind of a weird thing how the dimensions just fall right on top of each other, and it's so close. It's actually kind of neat. It allows you to do the job of translating the street car into the race car a little bit easier.
Tell us about how the 2013 Fusion for NASCAR changed from the previous generation.
We added quite a bit of defining features to the vehicle. I mean, we have a lot more sculpted body side. Like I said, all of those the things we hold near and dear to us as Ford design, we were able to drape all over the race car. So outside of the shapely body and all the lines that we put into it, the car itself has shrunk a bit in the back. I think the overhangs have changed. We have a lot more plan view into that. I mean, when you look at the top view of the car, there's a lot more shape in it. The windshield angles of it raked, and the glass all the glass around the car has changed dramatically and significantly from the previous car.
Yeah, it does. And looking at some of the detail photos, definitely, seeing it going down the track, it looks like a Fusion.
Yeah, we have a grill in it and everything. I mean, it's as close as you can get with this form of racing to what we sell on the street.
Yeah, and that was one of the things when I first heard about it. I'm like, I wonder if the sexy new grill will show up in the NASCAR version. In fact, you managed to pull it off somehow.
It absolutely shows up in the race car version. In fact, it's one of the defining features on the front end of the car. Everything shoots off that grill. If you look at the design of it, the grill sets up the entire front end. I mean, the lights sort of sprout out of it. You got the lower grill that supports it. You got these strong characteristics on the sides where the fog light areas are, and it defines the cheeks and the face of this car. And then the hood done a nice job of translating some of the speed that we have in the rest of the shape with its power dome lines, and it's just the whole thing's a cohesive look at what it takes to be a Ford, and it's on a great package like the NASCAR race car.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is. You look at the car, and it really is there, and of course here in Boston with Roush Fenway Racing, we have a natural connection to the Fenway part of that Roush Fenway Racing combination.
Very cool. So
yeah,
now you got more reason to celebrate the Fords and what our cars look like on the track.
Yeah, it certainly is. Hey, Garen, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday morning. I know you're going to be busy, and I know you're going to be focused on the race over the weekend to see how your design does.
I was just looking. Thank you very much for having me on the air.
All right, take care. Bye-bye now, and good luck with Ford and Ford Fusion Racing. That was Garen Nicoghosian. He is the design manager for specialty vehicles with Ford Motor Company, and his job was to make sure that new Fusion NASCAR looked like the one on the street. Speaking of Fusions, our former producer here, Dennis, just bought a Fusion hybrid. He sent me an email, and so far he loves it. Maybe one of these days we'll get him to call in and have him do a little review once he's been in, behind the wheel for a couple of weeks and see what he thinks of this new Fusion hybrid. It's kind of funny. I was talking to two different cab drivers. I was in, I think, back a couple months ago when I was on vacation, and this was the older Fusion, and asked them whether they liked the Camry hybrid or the Fusion hybrid better. And both of them said, both of them who had driven both cars said they actually liked the room inside the Camry, but they liked the performance of the Fusion better than the Toyota. Interesting little thing. Why don't we take a quick break? My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. If you would like to join us, our phone number is 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. And phone lines are open. Feel free to call in. I could use your help today because I can tell my voice is fading fast, and pretty soon we're going to have to get Marita to start talking. So we need to take a break. You're listening to the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston.
To see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
WROL Boston.
ACOS, a solutionist here. Putting on a few extra pounds? Who isn't? What if all this famous TV doctor stuff about green coffee extract really worked? Didn't their study show a 17.5-pound decrease in test subjects over 22 weeks? It's not only got me thinking about it, I'm attempting to lose weight, so I'm trying it out. Changed my lifestyle, and I'm losing weight. You should too. So here's the deal. We found a great formula made right here in America. A 30-day supply normally sells for $39.99. It's the real thing, pure quality, and it's worth trying. But if you act right now, we'll triple the offer. That's not 1 month supply, but how about a 3-month supply, still only $39.99? Can't beat that. So call 1-888-877-0490. That's 1-888-877-0490, or go to mycoolgadgets.com. That's mycoolgadgets.com to claim your offer. If you don't lose the weight, send the bottles back and we'll refund the money you spent on the bottles. What do you have to lose? Oh yeah, your weight. 1-888-877-0490, or go to mycoolgadgets.com now.
Right now, custom banners and posters are 50% off at Staples, which means it's less expensive than ever to get all the banners and posters your small business needs.
Okay, let's double check your order. I have a grand reopening banner, 500 sale flyers, business cards, a few passive-aggressive break room posters, and a less passive 6-foot banner advising people to stay away from your lunch in the fridge.
Sounds about right.
Perfect.
For a limited time, custom banners and posters are 50% off at Staples. That was easy. No coupon needed. Details in store and at staples.com/copy and print.
Hi, I'm Ray Brown, inviting all nature lovers and bird watchers to join me for a fun show Sunday mornings here on WROL. We call it Talkin' Birds. It's a program about the birds in your backyard and beyond. We answer your questions about attracting and feeding birds. We welcome expert guests, and we give away a bird feeder every week with our Mystery Bird Contest. Please join us for Talkin' Birds Sunday mornings from 9:30 to 10 live here on WROL, AM 950.
WROL Boston.
1, 2, 3, 4. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston. And on the road again reminds me that we are going to be at the AAA Travel Show next week at Gillette Stadium. If you're looking for tickets to the travel show, we still have some left. I will do my very best to get them in the mail to you so you can get them for next weekend. All the tickets went out on Monday to the travel show, the golf show, the flower show, anything we had tickets for from last week, all went out in the mail, and hopefully you've gotten them. And didn't say, oh, that's just an envelope from AAA, we'll throw it away, because it had your tickets in it. So hopefully you didn't do that. But thanks to the Paragon Group and the people at the radio station